Good afternoon. I'm Monisa Klein here at GBTA Broadcast Studio here in Orlando, Florida. And with me today, I have Jeff Berk, who is the CEO of Tripkicks. Jeff, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
It's great to be here with you.
It is
Thank
great.
you so much for joining me. And we were just chatting that you guys started up in 2018. So
we did.
Congratulations making it through the pandemic.
Thank you.
Right,
It's been a roller
right.
coaster of a year and a half,
It
but
sure
it's
has.
a really exciting time in the industry. It's a really exciting time for us as an organization.
So just for the audience sake, tell everybody what Tripkicks does. Tell
Sure.
us about your company.
Yeah, happy to. We're a technology add-on for corporate travel programs, and we help companies influence traveler behavior and really help make sure that travelers have all the information they need to get the most out of their trip.
Excellent. So what changes have you seen in regard to companies wanting to incentivize travelers?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's been a lot of changes in the industry over the
Yes,
past year and a
yes.
half especially, and I think all companies really are looking to better influence and guide traveler behavior, and to a certain extent travelers are kind of expecting it now because they have more personalization. So what we've seen is really companies looking to understand what motivates their travelers in terms of the decisions that they make. And some travelers might be, motivated by money if they could earn something. Others might be motivated by making a greener decision or knowing that if they select a preferred property, their company is gonna fund a carbon offset for their trip. Or some might be motivated by finding the best value. So I think companies are really starting to understand travelers are motivated by different things and making sure that travelers have the information that they need to make the best decision.
To make those decisions and do the right thing, right?
That's right.
So on that note, is cost reduction still as important as it's always been for travel programs? What do you think?
I think that's a big question being asked right now that a lot of companies are trying to kind of figure out. I mean, I think for so long cost was, the most important thing for companies when it comes to travel. And it was in a lot of ways kind of in a league of its own. And I don't really think it's less important, but I think what you're seeing now is that companies have other additional priorities that are kind of in that league alongside cost, and those are coming from a lot of the ESG objectives that we've been talking so much about at this event and others now. I can say others because we have other events that are happening.
Which is great.
Yeah. And also, from an employee well-being perspective, that's another key priority that has kind of risen to the forefront again, especially over the past year and a half. So I think, cost will always be important, but companies are trying to determine kind of that new equation, right? And how they value those other priorities alongside of them. And I think, as an industry in managed travel, there's a close, very heavy ties to procurement. And I think with a lot of the direction of the future of work, we may actually start to see that shift a little bit more towards those HR kind of employee-centric functions and see more of a priority on making sure that travelers are accomplishing what they need to for the trip and maybe not all about cost anymore.
Right. As I'm listening to you, it's making me think about there's some good things that came out of the pandemic, right? Like these additional things that are important now,
Definitely
right?
are.
Which were not as important before. I mean, they're important, but the focus is much more there, right?
And I think what we're seeing too is that they're going to have a lasting impact. It's not just important now because we're coming out of this. Like this is really setting the trend for the future.
I agree. So Tripkicks' focus most of this year was around getting essential travel information to travelers at the point of sale. Mm-hmm. What's next?
Yeah, that was a very important goal for us. It was important for our clients to restart travel, to feel comfortable having their travelers back in the online booking tools. And we're kind of continuing with that, right? We're focused on how do we best guide travelers on making the best decisions for them and their company. And that could mean additional data that they need to make those decisions, or it could be additional touch points, beyond the point of sale. So we make sure that they're better equipped for their trips. So really just want to continue to add more value to travelers and corporations and make sure that they're having they're able to accomplish what they need for those trips, and that companies are able to accomplish these new goals that are important to them as well.
Which is so cool. Well, Jeff, it's so great to see you and to have you here in the broadcast studio.
Great.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to this audience? You've got a great opportunity with this, all the corporate travel buyers that are here and suppliers and everyone here is a traveler in some way, shape, or form, right?
Everybody's here. Yeah, I'd say, from an industry perspective, let's, as we were saying, continue to leverage this time in the industry and the direction that we're headed and the focuses that we have now. I think it's very tempting to kind of go back to where we were in 2019, but we really got to push forward. We're coming back to a different future in a way, and I think that's really cool and a good time to drive a lot of change.
Excellent. It's an exciting time.
It is.
And for Tripkicks too. Jeff, congratulations. Thank you so much for being here with us today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the convention.
Thank you.
Thank you. Monisa Klein here at GBTA Broadcast Studios. Stay tuned for one more.